Welcome to this edition of Tornado Watch. I'm King Sports Information Director Travis Chelly with Jenn Testa, head softball coach. How you doing this morning?
Good.
Last week, talk about softball here. Last week didn't go really as planned. Went 0-4. Dropped a couple non-conference games here to Tusculum, and then a couple pitchers duels at Pfeiffer in conference play. What can you learn from a week like that and kind of use going forward?
Well, you're going to have times like that in your season. I think right now we're kind of in a little bit of an offensive drought, you could say. We're not really producing much from that standpoint of the game. Pitching has been okay, not great, but good enough to win ball games. Like I said, our offense just hasn't been there. So, I think teams go through this kind of stuff throughout a season, and hopefully this is our moment to kind of go through that low, and hopefully, we can rebound from that soon and pick it up.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitching. He's kind of been hit or miss all season, and it seems like sometimes the pitching is good, the offense isn't, maybe the offense is doing really well, but the pitching isn't there with it. It's kind of a back and forth. Talk about how do you get both of them on the same page and you're going forward?
Well, obviously we want to be playing our best softball at the end of the season. So we have had times this year where one's been good and one hasn't, and vice versa, where they've swapped. So I guess what we're kind of looking at is finding an opportunity where we can put both of those together when we want to put both of those together, and that's really at the end of the season. So hopefully that's what we can do. That's what we're striving for anyway.
Yeah, that's for sure. Talk about Cassie Ringstaff too. She's a senior, had a great week last week, hit 385, was basically the whole offense at Pfeiffer. Got a single, stole second, reached third on the pass ball, scored on a sac fly by Octavia Lewis ran.
Right.
But maybe more importantly was her defense against Tusculum. Had a couple great diving plays and just solid over there at third base this year.
Well, she's just a solid player. I mean, Cassie is, just a great kid, great attitude. Always has a great attitude. Always works extremely hard. You never have any doubt about her commitment and her desire to win. And that's when you'll see games like that, like the Tusculum game, where she plays great defensively. And same thing with Pfeiffer when she's, from an offensive standpoint, if she gets on base, there's no reason she shouldn't be able to score, especially if we have, less than 2 outs when we get her on base, because she has the ability to steal bases and she has the ability to make some things happen. And so, like I said, anytime we can get her on base, we feel like we've got a good shot at getting her in.
Yeah, going into the stretch run here, you've played 4 conference games, a whole lot to come up here in the last month of the season. What are some of the keys here to finish strong over that stretch and get a good placing for the conference tournament?
Well, I think obviously most importantly, we've got to improve from an offensive standpoint, and we've been really working on that. And I'll be honest with you, the Pfeiffer game, if you look at a box score, it's not really very telling, but there were a lot of times where we did improve in that game. From the Tusculum matchup where we didn't have a great offensive performance that day. Pfeiffer was better. The only difference was we were hitting it right at people. So we had some people who were improving from that standpoint, but we just didn't get the results as far as, when you look at a box score is concerned. So we're really hoping that we can continue to build on that because there were some improvements, and then, eventually be where we need to be from an offensive standpoint to actually start producing some runs.
Yeah, and then looking forward to this week, you played non-conference at home on Friday against Bloomsburg and another non-conference matchup at Newberry on Sunday. What are you trying to get out of these games and, trying to get something to propel you into conference play next week?
Yeah, I think obviously we're trying to get some momentum. With a big conference week next week, that's something that I think we need. So from an offensive standpoint, we want to gain some momentum, and hopefully we can continue to improve. And if we do continue to improve like we have been, then I think we'll be where we want to be as far as that's concerned. Pitching, we just need to continue what we're doing there too. Obviously, especially in the Pfeiffer game, Hannah did a decent job. Anytime you're holding a team to 1 run or 2 runs, you would hope that your offense can produce enough to, but then again, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, But Hannah obviously has shown that she's very capable. Our offensive players have shown that they're very capable as well too. So it's just a matter of putting it all together and hoping that we can start to do that on Friday and then on Sunday, and then build on that once the week starts with conference games.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thank you.